Hi, everyone. Jake Roberts here. Welcome back to The Torch.
I'm Kimberly Rowland, and we're really excited to have our fearless leader and the BBB Vice President of Marketing and Communications and Chief Brand Officer, Felicia Thompson, with us. Hi, Felicia.
Hello.
So Felicia is the Vice President and Chief Brand Officer for Better Business Bureau, serving the Pacific Southwest. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in journalism from the University of Arizona in Tucson, and also holds a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Phoenix. Since joining BBB in 2004, Felicia has served as spokesperson for local and national media, as well as she has led BBB in critical communication and brand strategies. Her team is responsible for all of BBB's external communications in the Pacific Southwest. Felicia is a board member of the International Association of Business Communicators, IABC, in Phoenix, and is a member of Vistage International. Welcome, Felicia.
Hello. I'm so excited. This is surreal.
I know. I've been waiting to get you on here for a while.
I feel like I'm the biggest fan of the pod, seriously. Not because I know you guys, but because it's really cool.
Thank you. It's fun to have you here in the studio.
Yeah.
Surreal.
So we have a bunch of things we want to talk to you about. First, we want to get to know you a little bit. I mean, I feel like I know you, but
yeah,
even more.
You know enough.
Yeah. Where?
Just enough.
Where did you grow up? Tell me about growing up.
So I wasn't born in Phoenix, but I've lived here since I was like in 4th grade. So I grew up in Phoenix, right? But a lot of people don't know that I spent every summer in Arkansas with my grandparents. So I don't know. It wasn't until I was like maybe in college that I actually experienced an Arizona summer. So my mom, she would take my sister and I. We would either fly or drive. Sometimes it was like a 2-day drive.
Oh my gosh.
From Arizona to Chicago to Arkansas, a little tiny town in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, 30 minutes outside of Little Rock. So we would spend all our summers there, me and my cousins. So my grandparents, bless their heart, they had 6 of their grandkids there, and we were just like going crazy and having fun and just being in I call it the jungles of Arkansas. So that's what it was.
That sounds so fun as a kid.
Yeah. Your whole world kind of like changes for a couple months. Right?
That's all I knew, and so it was just weird. So now my kids are young, but we're thinking, like, when they get old enough, we don't have anywhere to ship them off to.
That is funny. Where were you born?
Chicago.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Chi-town, yeah.
That's awesome. I love Chicago.
So most of my family, were born and raised, but we slowly started to move to the West Coast, and so most of us has migrated over, but we still have a few people there. But yeah, Chicago. So Chicago, Arkansas, and Arizona, those are my stomping grounds. I just love thinking about my family, older family, that have passed away. But it's a great place to be, but I do not miss the snow. Do not miss the snow. In Arkansas, too. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Every Friday would rain, and so I love Arizona's weather. Like, I'm wearing a sweater right now, and it's
70 degrees.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like winter now, almost winter. I made my kids wear a jacket this morning. My husband rolled his eyes, but you don't want to be cold.
It's the season you write home about when you're like an Arizona transplant. You know what I mean?
This is when you start bragging.
Yeah.
Even if you're not, we're both we were born here, and I brag to my sister right now. Like 2 days ago, I texted her and I said, "Hey, this is why you should move back to Arizona. It's 60 degrees tonight, and we have the windows open.
This is why I stayed, and this is why I'm correct."
It's like once you know, there's another way to live. That's why so many people are from Chicago and Phoenix, because it's like once you experience it.
It is like little Chicago here.
It is. That's why all of these food restaurants are coming out, because there's support. I think I heard there's a White Castle. Like anyone from Chicago, they went crazy when they heard White Castle was coming to Phoenix. So do you know what that is?
Yes, I've had it once.
The frozen kind or the real kind?
The real kind in Michigan.
Okay, yeah. So
I didn't know White Castle was a Chicago thing.
I don't know. People go crazy for Chicago.
Yeah, Midwest people love White Castle.
White Castle. So pizza, hot dogs, all that good stuff. That's why it's a good place for businesses, because it's like people recognize those brands.
Cool.
All right, so next question for you, Felicia, is if you could meet somebody, living or dead, one person in history or present, who would it be and why?
This is one of those questions like you could pick so many people. Do you guys know the answers to yours? Have you ever revealed yours? I'm stalling right now.
Oh my God.
Okay, no, but I do.
We have a few, but this is about you, Felicia.
So mine, it's totally random, but there's an individual called Henry Louis Gates Jr. And I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a professor. I think he's at Harvard. He's over African American research. I think he's an author, but most importantly, he hosts a show called Finding Your Roots. And so I'm really totally obsessed with like genealogy and just ancestry and just knowing where you come from. And so what he does on the show, he usually only features celebrities, but he'll feature like regular people kind of sprinkled in. But I think people watch because it's celebrities. But he basically takes that person and builds their family tree from them and kind of goes all the way up to their roots. And as far as back as he can go, he would trace who their ancestors were and what they were experiencing and how they're connected. And so like that is totally interesting to me. So I would love for him to like sit in front of me and he presents this book and he flips the pages and all of these cool stories that people had no idea like where they came from. So I want to meet him and I want to be on your show if you're listening, please.
Yes.
The torch is a stepping stone for her.
Yeah, seriously. But I mean, it's just so interesting and the resources. So I think that's maybe my next career, my next life, maybe.
I like it. That's a good one.
To find my roots.
Genealogy, I'm super interested in it, but I feel like at a certain point, my family history just like doesn't exist because like I have no idea where I would find any of that kind of stuff.
I know, but that's the incredible thing. Like they find documents and like wills or like all these little pieces and they put it together. So I mean, they make it seem easy on the show because you watch it in 30 minutes, but it's just really cool because even going back a couple of generations, people just don't know, you know?
Yeah, you pretty much, I think most people lose it with the great-grandparents, right, is where you kind of don't even know any, like, oral history of your family.
Right.
That would be really interesting.
There's just a lot of great stuff. And so, yeah, it's on, I think I watch it on Amazon Prime now. It's like, it was a PBS show, but Finding Your Roots. So that's one of the many people.
Good one.
Yeah.
I like it. Talk to us a little bit more about your career here at BBB, Felicia.
So, I will be here for almost 14 years in November, which is crazy. I literally feel like I grew up here. Literally. I think I was 24. But I started out, I remember getting a call from Matt, who's our CEO now. He was the vice president back then. I think I was driving, sitting in front of my grandparents' house. I got a phone call from this random person. And I said, yeah, I'll come in for the interview. And he told me, you're going to meet with the CEO, a panel, and another group. And I was just thinking, there's no way I'm going to do that. Like, there's no way they're going to hire me. I'm not going to make it past this panel. So I almost did not go to the interview. That's the crazy thing. I look back because there's no way, you know. But I went and I remember I straightened my hair. I put glasses on. Anything I could do to look older than I was. I just wanted to go in there and look older than I was so people could take me seriously. But I started out as, I think, public affairs coordinator. And my job was just to start to build relationships with local media. And then it just blossomed from there. And so it's been an amazing career. And, you know, I get to work with people like the two of you every day. Our team is so solid and so legit. Like, there's so much talent on this team. And I feel so blessed just to be a part of it. And sometimes I wonder, am I an imposter? Like, should I even be doing what I'm doing? But we just, it's moving really fast lately, but it's all for the good. But yeah, I can go on and on, but it's a great place to be. And it's been one of those where the leadership here has definitely been able to step up and have these experiences that you wouldn't probably have at other nonprofits or for sure not in corporations, not at this level and this speed, I don't think. So I think we've all done things that just expanded our resumes like triple fold. So.
And in case you don't think you've ever met Felicia or seen her, you most likely have if you ever watch the local news. She is on the news about once a week, which is always so exciting. So now my husband will even watch out and he'll pause the TV for me if I'm not in the room. Yes, we get so excited when we see Felicia on the news because it's really great to represent our brand that way and just to see you across the different channels. It's so exciting.
That was one of the things that super excited me when I first started working here is like, I was doing something and then someone like mentioned offhand, oh yeah, Felicia's going to be on the news today. And I was like, what? We do that? You know, we're that ingrained. I don't know. It's really cool.
Thank you. No, it's really nice. It's funny because I don't really like to watch myself. Of course, I will promote BBB and talk about our great services and the great team here. But it's awkward just like listening to your voice. Like even here, we can hear the feedback, our voices. And it's like, ooh. Or I'm talking about scams a lot. And it's like, oh, I probably shouldn't have been smiling during that conversation. But, and it's funny because you mentioned, you paused my grandmother and my grandfather who just passed recently, but they would get so excited. And they, according to them, I like own the news station.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Talk about how BBB is able to do that, because I remember Joe Kelly, our former board member who recently retired. Yeah, I miss Joe. You know what? Joe will probably really enjoy listening to this podcast.
To Joe. He's out in Florida, retired.
That's right.
Enjoying life.
Wasn't he the one that would always say he's never seen, in all his experience between corporations or nonprofits, a brand that gets so much attention and respect than BBB does?
And he was a big supporter and fan of BBB. But, I think for us, it's just we are this trusted resource. And so thankfully, we've built some great relationships with local media and outlets here in town. And we have this information. We don't want to sit on it. We want to share it. So whether it be a warning or something that we see that's happening in the marketplace, or even, unfortunately, someone who has a problem and they got help in the end, we want to share those stories. So it's not about BBB. It's about the companies, the accredited businesses that are out there doing good things, or about the consumers who want to find those trusted companies. So I think that's, we're not selling a certain product. We're just passing along the information. And I think that's valuable to a lot of different people out there. So, we'll keep doing it as long as we can.
Love it.
And I want to say it's not just me. Our CEO, Matt, he's amazing on camera. But we also have regional teams. So throughout the entire service area, we have folks, boots on the ground, that are able to talk with local media. They're essentially the face of BBB in those communities. And so the more we can share, the more people can, number one, find out who BBB is and what we are, who we are and what we do. And knowing the fact that we're not just about taking complaints. There's so much more to BBB, but that we're a resource. Really, at the end of the day, we're a resource. So yeah, it's fun.
I want to hear a little bit about early conversations about getting us to the point we are today. Because right now we have this amazing campus and we have all of these different resources that are making, our everyday, lives at work better. Where did that come from?
Ooh, so I think it's been a journey. I have to say, and I'm not just sucking up because he's my boss, but we have a great leader, Matthew Failing, aka Matt. He's truly, you hear about these visionary leaders, and he's like this visionary leader where he's picking the right people to be on the bus, but he's also allowing us time to grow and develop and do it ourselves. He's not saying do this step 1, step 2, step 3. He's saying this is what I see us doing in the end, and here, go do it, basically, or build your teams and bring on expertise. So I think it's been slow coming. So we moved to this campus in 2016, which is a 30,000 square foot campus. And it took us about 2 years just to find this space in Central Phoenix. We wanted to find something that was still central enough that we didn't lose staff members, because we literally have staff members across the Metro Phoenix area, as far as, I would say Surprise, and even up to, past like Santan, so really way out there. But we wanted to make sure we moved a central place, that we had parking, and we wanted to open up our doors to the community. It wasn't about us, because, again, you can say, oh, I'm a member of, or I'm accredited by BBB, but it's one thing to say, I am going to BBB to have my client meetings, or I'm going to BBB to have a board meeting, or to get educated on how to brand or how to market. So we truly are like this cool community resource. And every day we see a different way and a different use for the space. It's continuing to grow. So I think it started with Matt, and we have a really good board of directors as well. That's really a lot of it, making sure that the right people are saying yes, and then letting the rest of us go and just do it. And if we make mistakes, letting us come back and fix those, you know? So
that is good. A forgiving culture.
Culture. It's an amazing culture. Yeah.
I love what you touched on with the businesses being able to come in. Traditionally, Better Business Bureau is seen as this resource of information, right? But we've sort of become utilitarian in making businesses better, right? If we're able to provide to them a space for them to come in and work on their business, it just adds to their own successes, right?
Absolutely. And it brings so much life. So as a staff member, just to be able to walk around campus and see businesses of all sizes and different industries, like just sitting in our break room and having lunch, having conversations. So it makes our experience as a staff member even more enlightening too. It's inspiring to see that. And it's just, I think, the tip of the iceberg. So.
Yeah, today's a great example, actually. Almost every room in our business and community center is being used by a different size and type of organization. So we have a nonprofit organization focused on entrepreneurship doing like a 2 or 3 day brainstorming strategy session for their next calendar year here. We have a huge training going on upstairs for another company. We have several smaller meetings. We have people eating in our lunchroom with our staff. We have people setting up next door, which is the next thing we want to talk about. We have staff working. So
I literally just tweeted about it like a couple hours ago. I saw the board because we have this reader board that lists all of like who's on campus today. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I literally just tweeted a picture of that earlier.
Yeah. Nice. It's a busy day.
It is.
That was part of Matt's vision too, right? He wanted this place to be hustling and bustling.
Yeah, he wants always moving. I think he even wanted like video games in the break room, just always kind of that cool, if you think of kind of a tech company vibe, but with a more local community feel. I think that's what we're going for.
I love it.
Yeah.
We definitely have gotten there, I think, and we're continuing to grow it.
Yeah, and there's never a shortage of food. Goodness gracious.
The amount of
sugar
that are available for consumption.
I mean, it's just a happy accident as far as when there's meetings, there's going to be food and there's leftovers. People don't want to take it, so we just happen to reap the benefits of the leftover food.
We're helping prevent food waste, one meeting at a time. So, Felicia, it's been a really busy year here at BBB.
It has.
Can you tell us a little bit why?
It's funny because I feel like every year you think, wow, we did so much, and it gets busier and busier. But this tops everything, I think. So it's all for the good, though. We so really exciting. I think it was April 1st, ironically, April Fool's Day, but it wasn't a joke. We merged, we being the Greater Arizona BBB at the time, merged with the BBB that served San Diego, Orange County, and Imperial County. So we literally merged two big BBB organizations into one. And so now, you said it a little bit earlier, but we're the BBB Pacific Southwest, so which sounds humongous, and it is. It's a massive service area. I mean, we have close to 20,000 BBB accredited businesses and counting, and so I had never experienced or gone through a merger before, and so it was all new to me. I think it was new to everyone who on the leadership team, all of us, and so it was a big job. It's not over yet. We're literally 6 months in, so we're right in the thick of things right now, but it's been all for the good. It's been we've been able to maintain great qualities in our culture, but it's been a lot of traveling. And Matt, who literally, I mean, it's kind of like, where's Waldo as far as where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Matthew's seriously, he's literally on a plane twice a week going back and forth to make sure all of our campuses. We have 6 campuses now. So do we talk about this? Phoenix, there's a campus in Phoenix, Lake Havasu, which I was there last week, Lake Havasu City, Yuma, Prescott, Orange County, actually Newport Beach specifically, and San Diego. So it's like a massive service area with staff all over the Pacific Southwest, and it's been a lot of work. But we're still standing, and it's all for the good. So this great concept as far as Ignite, we want to replicate that in our other areas. We want to replicate the Business and Community Center in other areas. And I think, again, it's just helping our brand promise to the community that we're here to help and build better businesses, basically.
So, Felicia, as the Chief Brand Officer, I'd love for you to announce, drum roll, our new brand.
So we are so proud to announce that our new building on campus is Ignite, sparked by BBB. Kimberly can share a little bit about why that name came to be, but it literally was a labor of love, or is a labor of love. Took a year to get us to this point, but Ignite, sparked by BBB.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. I think it was a huge team effort, like Felicia said, with our creative services team. We had probably hundreds of brand concepts that we've worked through the past year, and Ignite was just so strong that it pretty much, when we voted on the top 5, was unanimous across the senior staff and our team. But it really speaks to that iconic Torch, which is our brand that people can recognize even without the BBB under it.
Right.
Most people know right off the bat that's the Better Business Bureau. So it's kind of the logo itself, which we can definitely post in maybe the show notes, is it's a play off of the Better Business Bureau brand, but it's also taking us into the future. And like Matt talked about in the interview with the Business Journal, we will always do complaint handling and helping consumers. But the focus right now is really becoming how can we better serve our members too, and businesses as they're starting up, so that they can do so ethically and have a lot of resources at their disposal. So Ignite Sparked by BBB, it's really fun. We're excited about the brand. It brings a lot of great energy, and as someone who's really corny, I love all the different kind of plays on words we can do with fire. So I was actually researching earlier. I was on a firefighter's website. I think it was a study guide if you're becoming a firefighter.
Yeah.
And it was the stages of a fire, because I was just looking for keywords to use.
Nice. I like it.
In the brand story. And so there's like the incipient stage of fire, there's like kindling, and then what was really interesting is in the middle of an actual fire there's a growth stage. So I know we're going to have to play on that.
That's
when
really
we
deep.
Yeah, I know. But isn't that perfect? Like a growth stage for a business, for a nonprofit organization. So yeah, we're super excited for Ignite Sparked by BBB. It's more than a co-working space. It's going to be a great place to collaborate, to host, more events and trainings, have a lot of resources in there. And we have a really cool anchor tenant coming in. Right, Felicia?
We do. The Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Yes, and Minority Business Center. So they will be on campus with us, and we're just really excited because we have a great history with the Hispanic Chamber and a lot of the other chambers around town too. But it's just, again, we're about being collaborative, not competitive, and so let's bring all of these resources and all of this expertise together to help better the business community. So we're excited.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So when people come by, there's business counselors on site. There's going to be a slew of other resources that we're also going to bring into that space. So we want it to be a one-stop shop for you as you're starting your business. We get so many people who come in the front doors right now that are maybe consumers but looking to start a business, and they're desperate for resources, and it's really difficult and confusing to find things online. So we are very excited to have this partnership with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we are so excited to open the doors and offer people tours in the upcoming month and show them the space. We're really proud of it. And like Felicia said, it's a labor of love. So it's awesome to finally be where we are.
And so the article did reveal that the doors will officially open November 1st, and that actually happens to be the day we're doing an open house. So if people are interested, they can come see for themselves, get a tour, not only see the Business and Community Center, but see Ignite live and in person. And so the color scheme is very exciting to me. I love it. So you have to come check it out.
Yeah.
I love what you've done with the. I love what you've done with the place. No, it's
love what you've done.
You've decorated it really well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, it seems like such a superficial comment, but like at the same time, it's like the way something looks, it helps people feel invited into the place, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you've done a really good job of designing it.
I have to give a shout out to Kimberly because she joined us. Speaking of getting the right people on the bus, she joined us in July of last year and really has elevated our brand. I think between the two of you can see the transformation of our brand relevance and just the coolness factor too, I think of it. So Kimberly,
Thanks.
Everything's been intentional. I think nothing has been by chance. It's been very intentional. And so now we're starting to reap the benefits of all of that hard work. And again, it's seriously just the beginning. And I think that part of, going back to the original question, part of Matt's vision is to have this, when you think of BBB, there's so many other things that we do. Of course, we're always going to help consumers and businesses resolve complaints, but there's this plethora of other things that we can do to help better the marketplace and build trust. So it's really exciting.
Thank you. That might be, I don't want to speak for you, Jake, but as two theater nerds, that might be the first time we've ever been called cool.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
Thanks, Felicia. I'm going to write that in my diary too. No, that's a huge compliment. Thank you. And we're excited. And going kind of back to your point, Jake, the aesthetic of that building and the brand itself, it ties to the BBB brand, but we wanted it to have an energy that you feel when you're in other entrepreneur spaces. We want people to feel welcome, but also not to make it a stuffy space where you feel like you can actually have a conversation with somebody, truly meet and collaborate, because that is what I've noticed in some co-working spaces is people will talk about collaboration, but really it's just people who are working at a desk. Not that much different than when you go to the library. You're there to do your deal and you don't really want to be bothered. And the space that we've created, we want it to be warm and welcoming. And we also want people who don't feel welcomed in some of these other spaces to feel like they have a place at Ignite. And they could truly just pop in for a coffee if they want, use the Wi-Fi, and then head out to their next client or customer. So we are very excited about that. And it's awesome to have this beautiful campus in Phoenix.
So how does Ignite benefit people who are not coworkers? You know, they're not there to check in, check out. They're there to more sort of start something.
Definitely. That's a great question. So between the Business and Community Center and Ignite, we want to have resources that you could come in if you need maybe financial advice, if you need legal advice, if you have marketing or design questions. Maybe having different office hours as well as mixers or lunchtime meet and greets or after hours events, things that we're already doing to some extent here in our Business and Community Center and then out in the community. This adds just another layer of services and resources because you're absolutely right, Jake. A lot of the companies that we work with are service providers. They work out of their trucks. They work at clients' homes. So they don't necessarily need a desk, but they might need to stop in if they're out on the road and they don't necessarily want to eat in their truck. Maybe they need a space to eat, relax, use the restroom, grab a coffee. That's going to be part of the co-working space is really a landing space for you. So it's a little bit thinking outside the box of where your mind goes when you think of a co-working space, because a lot of time that's just renting a desk or renting a suite, and it's really like a real estate transaction. With us, we want it to be for a greater cause, which is helping you build your business and do so ethically and also make good connections.
As someone who stopped drinking coffee yesterday because I thought that was the best idea, and who started up again today because it was a bad idea. We have coffee. I think that's cool, like a local coffee vendor.
Yes, Cultivate Coffee. We're really excited to welcome them as well, and we're proud to serve their coffee in the space. They're awesome. They are a nonprofit organization, and they work with youth who are aging out of the foster care system and refugee youth, and they give them job skills, open the door to different professional development opportunities for them, teach them how to roast, how to work in customer service, and their coffee is really delicious on top of it. So that's like the cherry on top. So we're excited to partner with them and offer some really nice quality coffee for a cause in the space.
Yeah, I mean, coffee, a space to work, that's like really all you need, right? I mean...
And Wi-Fi.
And Wi-Fi, yeah, you do need Wi-Fi.
And little chocolates once in a while.
Oh, don't tell me that. That'll be the reason I walk over there every hour.
Felicia, it's been awesome having you here. I've been wanting to get you here ever since we started.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and I don't just say that because you're my boss. But we love our bosses here at BBB.
We do.
It's something I've noticed.
We have the best bosses.
Yeah, we do. But yeah, it's been great. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, guys. You are doing an amazing job. It's so exciting, and so keep doing what you're doing.
A very special thanks to a very special guest, Felicia Thompson. You know, I can say from firsthand experience working with Felicia that she's just fantastic at what she does. The words brand officer are in her title, and if anyone lived our BBB brand, it would be her. She works very hard every day to get us where we all want Better Business Bureau to be. She engages in servant leadership. She gives everyone on her team a solid foundation on which to conduct our work. I really enjoyed sitting down with her and getting her perspective on everything we've been up to. I liked hearing about her childhood. There were things I didn't know that you heard me hear for the first time here on the show. I want to remind you that our BBB Integrity Online auction is still going. Please go to auction.bbbcommunity.org and check it out. There's lots of cool stuff, guys. Lots of cool stuff. Go there, check it all out. Bid on some stuff. All the proceeds go towards funding scholarships for ethical youth. And what better cause could you find? You know, guys, at the end of the show, I have a spiel where I ask you to subscribe to the podcast, rate it, review it. And finally, someone did. We've got our first review in. We're 6 episodes deep, and we've got our first review in. This comes from Vinny Franchise. Vinny says, and here's the title of it, Business Podcasting at Its Finest. That's a heck of a title, Vinny Franchise. I love it. Vinny Franchise says, Kimberly and Jake are informative and easy to listen to as hosts of the show, and the subject matter can't be beat for those involved in the world of small business. Love seeing a classic brand like BBB diving into a medium like podcasting where consumers and business owners alike can directly relate and find value with the topics at hand from show to show. Hashtag subscribed. Thank you very much, Vinny Franchise. On that note, if you have any questions for any of our guests, if you'd like to have someone back to discuss a certain topic, please reach out to us and let us know how we can help you. Just send an email to thetorchpodcast@bbbcommunity.org. Thanks again for listening, and if you liked it, please be like Vinny Franchise and subscribe and review us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thanks a bunch, guys.